The once great Command & Conquer franchise has fallen from grace, and Command & Conquer 4 is the final nail in the coffin. In this review we'll take a deep dive into the game's shortcomings and see if there's any redeeming qualities left to salvage. Spoiler alert, no there isn't.
It's going down.
First off, let me say I'm a big CNC fan. Nod is my favorite faction in gaming, and Kane is one of the coolest characters ever. We haven't gotten a new game since CNC4, and no, I'm not counting the mobile game or the remaster. The mobile game is just a cash grab, being Command & Conquer in name only, and the remaster, while nice, is a repackaged old game. So when CNC4 was first announced, I was actually very excited for the game. The series had a good run since Tiberium Wars, with the base game and Kane's Wrath being really good. Not only in campaign mode but also online. There was a lot of balance patches, and the developers listened and communicated with the fans, and we had Battlecast primetime every 2 weeks. There were dev interviews, news, the future of the franchise, community highlights, and more. Things looked very good. So Red Alert 3 followed Kane's Wrath, and while it was maybe leaning too much into its goofy territory, it was still a decent CNC game. So, with the announcement of Command & Conquer 4, a lot of fans had a reason to be excited. And then the beta hit, and I played the beta and I couldn't believe my eyes. But let me tell you this, I know why the beta players were under the NDA. The game was awful, and any hope of a good send-off for Kane was fading very quickly.
You're looking good. Yeah, see for yourself.
But beta is beta, right? Surely the developers will listen to feedback. No, they didn't. The game hit the shelves and nothing changed. Now, before we dissect the gameplay, it is to be noted that this game was not intended to be a canonical Tiberium Universe game, but rather a multiplayer-based spin-off of Tiberium Wars and Kane's Wrath aimed at the Asian market. But then the higher branches of Electronic Arts commanded the addition of single-player campaign and marking the game as an official sequel. All that despite the negative reception of the decision among the developers at EA LA. Thus, the project was transformed into Command & Conquer 4, released in 2010, to, surprise surprise, negative reception. Even when you first load into the game, you're greeted with the very out-of-character music compared to previous games. The music doesn't really fit the Tiberium theme at all. The menu itself looks very low effort. But let's judge the game on the gameplay. And we come to the first sin, which of course is no base building. Every faction, well, just 2 of them, GDI and Nod, because the screen decided not to partake in these shenanigans, has an access to a crawler. This is called a mobile MCV in-game, but in truth is just a walking war factory. There's 3 types of crawlers. There's offensive, defensive, and support, each harboring different units. So if you want air units, you have to go with support crawler. If you want a stealth tank, you'll have to choose the offensive crawler, and so on. The only way to mix the very few units you'll get to command is to decommission your current crawler and call up another one, and it's just not working. What do I mean by very few units? Well, there's a population cap, and some of the units cost 10 command points while you have 90 or less available. The prices of units range from 3 to 10 command points, and you don't have all of them unlocked. No, you need to level up in order to unlock higher tier units. That means you have to grind if you want an avatar or a specter. Amazing game design. But hey, at least we still have Tiberium, right? Right? No, not really we don't. There is no resource gathering, even if the devs said, "We hear you fans, you want Tiberium? Here it is." Well, It sometimes falls from the sky in either green, red, or blue crystal, and your unit can pick it up and bring it to your deployment zone. You can then use the points you gather for upgrades. That's how Tiberium harvesting works in this game. Oh, the vast Tiberium fields transforming the Earth into Tiberium-infested wasteland? Yeah, that's gone, because of Tiberium Control Network. A vast network of interconnected pipes and cables is connected to screen tower not captured in Third Tiberium War. So no more tip fills, now humanity can use Tiberium without the Earth being devoured by it. Very convenient. The system was designed by Kane. Wait, that's not right, is it? Kane, the dude who wanted the world covered in Tiberium and was willing to sacrifice mankind if necessary? Let me check my notes. Oh no, it gets worse. It was designed by Kane and built with the assistance of GDI. So, Kane, who killed Killian in previous game for working with GDI against the screen, one day decided to work with GDI. And GDI is just like, oh sure, you've killed millions of people, but hey, all is forgiven, let's build this thing together. But surely Kane is just using GDI to bring upon a new Tiberian future and is plotting something evil. No, turns out Kane just really wants to go home and needs the TCN to power up the screen tower portal, designed very poorly in After Effects because he kinda has enough of the Earth. It's never explained who he is or where he went, he just stepped into the portal to buy milk and never returned. Even the conflict in the story is very poorly written. If you choose GDI, you'll help a rogue Colonel James who wants to bring down Kane with very poor results, and Kane manages to ascend while your character dies. Oh, your character also has a wife, she dies in the GDI campaign. If you choose Nod, you help Kane against Colonel James and Separatist Nod leader Gideon, who is more of a nuisance than a threat. Again, Kane manages to leave while you die, but your wife is there to cry over your perishing. What a great ending to a story starting in 1997. While Legion and the Cyborgs make an appearance, the whole story from Kane's Wrath and Tiberium Wars doesn't really matter. The Screen, who are preparing a full assault force instead of farmers descent on Earth the first time, are nowhere to be found. They're mentioned here or there, but they wisely decided not to partake in CNC4 and probably went off to terraform some other planet. All of this great storytelling is packed into an about 4-hour long campaign, not a send-off the series deserved. We do get the FMVs and the great Joe Coogan returns as Kane, but even he cannot save the disaster that is CNC4.
Enemy unit sighted.
Somebody gonna save me?
At least we still have the multiplayer, right? Not if you like 1v1 battles. 1v1 is extremely lacking because the game was clearly made for team games. Even 2v2 and 3v3 is not exactly great. The cap limitation is there because the game was designed for 5v5. The decision, which is baffling, seeing how EA wanted to push Command & Conquer into esports. But CNC4 multiplayer is not made for esports, no matter how much EA wanted it to be. The balance wasn't there, the strategies were lacking, as did the players. CNC4 is the worst selling game in the franchise. It's speculated only about 500 to 750k copies were sold. The problem is that the distinction between Nod and GDI is gone too. Nod used to be sneaky, hit and run faction, and GDI was more of a traditional faction. With CNC4, even that is gone. Units are literally rock, paper, scissors, with each unit effective against one type of unit and vulnerable to another type of unit. Stealth doesn't make sense too much because units like stealth tanks were used to make your opponent quit the game with how effective they were taking out structures and harvesters in late game. Attack bikes are now just an anti-air unit, not the cool hit and run vehicle it was before. There's some support powers for which you use points too. If you've points available, you can use multiple and then just wait for the points to regenerate. Now, it's worth noting that in December of 2009, a few months before the release of CNC4, then CEO of EA, John Riccitello, was very pompously saying how CNC4 isn't just about upgraded graphics, it's about evolution, while still giving the fans what they want. And then this atrocity comes out. It makes sense when you think about what this game really is. This game never had a chance to be good because it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a quick cash grab which destroyed a beloved franchise and its characters. Kane is dead, and this time I don't think he's coming back. CNC4 has absolutely no redeeming qualities, and if you're a CNC fan, do not count it as a canon game. There is a lot more to be said about the character assassination of Kane in this game, but let's leave that for another video. If you liked this one, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Until next time, take care of yourselves and others. Goblin out.
You're all so fragile.